From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell. ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all of your sports books and track all of your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You can also sign up for sportsbooks and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as they're the best account on the platform. Head to the App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire to download the app.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is the closing bell with Riley Magnuson for Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. An absolute hell of a day here at the ECSI studios. First and foremost, shout out to the men behind the glass, Joseph Shea, Evan Lewis, Olu, Bennett, and of course, Cade Horton. Shout out to our new sponsor and partnership, WagerWire. If you have not already, please go to Google Play, wherever else you may download your apps. Download this app. You can see the logo in the top right corner. Go find it, download it. It's free. Great educational app where we will be taking you step by step, day by day through the next couple days, weeks, months, and hopefully years, helping you track your bets, your ROI, window shop. There's dozens of books to link up your active accounts. Hopefully, Massachusetts has 8 of them. Promos from these books, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, yada, yada, yada. Check their free promos and plays there. And also, since we're getting close to Christmas, if you're looking maybe for a little side hustle and some extra flash cash to put under the tree and decorate the stockings, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them Jeff Dawson at ECSI sent you. They'll take good care of you there. Travis, Zach, the rest of the team, amazing group of people, investors that they have put forth, and nothing but the best yet to come. Earlier today, Travis Geiger, CFO, CXO, founder of WagerWire, on his daily Tuesday morning breakfast bankroll. 1 o'clock guest co-host with Pop DiBiase, the NFL Bet Exchange. 3 o'clock, well, around 3:30, myself and Andrew McGinnis from Wager Talk talked about the 16-game slate in the NHL, ESPN Plus version of the Red Zone in hockey tonight. Must-watch TV with Mr. Bucci himself. And, of course, the closing bell with Southside Riley. And me and Riley talked at length last night about the NFL game. So I'm going to start there with him. Let's bring him on, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, my friend. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, you said it, man. We've got an interesting sports slate going on tonight, as well as talking what we were talking yesterday. We don't like to pat ourselves on the back too much, but there wasn't too many other people other than this show right here that was interested in any Minnesota Vikings action last night. And obviously we talked about it. It's all reactionary, and now, nobody's panicking too hard, but at two losses in a row, it's what's wrong with the 49ers. Nothing's necessarily wrong with the 49ers. They obviously had 2 of their best players not in that game. And obviously that's a spirited Vikings effort at home in a spot where they're 2-4. And now when the sky is falling, now they're 3-4. It's like, hey, what's going on with the Vikings here? And that's obviously where we're at. And I said, I think when they were 1-4, I said, hey man, after a couple weeks, maybe they're 1-3. I said they've got a couple tough games here coming up, but after that, their schedule gets a lot easier. So, in a NFC where the seventh spot is probably going to be a situation where nobody is going to want it, kind of like it was last year. Vikings are going to be very live to get into the last playoff spot, even if they fall to my Packers and go to 3-5 this upcoming week, because obviously teams that play the 49ers don't have a ton of success the following week. But nonetheless, that Vikings team is not dead. And when everyone's talking about the trade deadline and the Vikings being fire sale, probably going to keep everybody around. They'll get Justin Jefferson back eventually. So not panicking on the Niners by any means. And, the Vikings, while they obviously were still a very fraud team at 13-4 last year, that does not mean that they're a just flat-out bad team like we saw at 1-3, 2-4, whatever it was. It's still a solid team that's going to win some games this year. So, nonetheless, good football game, though, at the end of the day.
So many things to talk about just from that segment, Riley. The NFL is amazing. And the reason I say this, again, tongue-in-cheek, sarcastically, NFL stands for not for long. Any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, anyone can beat anyone. And when we go to college games, they're just kids. So a 17-point underdog has one of those 60 minutes and they shock the world. But in the NFL, we just look dumbfounded and we stand there and stare there and we're saying refs fixed. Every reason why this shouldn't have happened. Go back 2 weeks ago. 2 undefeated teams. The last two standing, the Eagles and the 49ers. What happened 2 weeks ago? They both lost. 49ers at Cleveland, Philadelphia at the Jets, right? So we get ready for this past Sunday. In come the Bills to New England. Oh, the 8.5-point favorites. There's no way the Bills are going to lose. Maybe the Patriots cover. There's no way they're going to lose. They lost. So what did everyone see Sunday night? Well, the Philadelphia Eagles team at home versus a Miami team, which everyone said what? There's no way the Eagles are going to lose 2 in a row, and the public was rewarded. That was correct. So last night, the public sitting there with the devil, almost like Animal House, the angel and the devil and the angel. I watched Philly. There was no way they were losing 2 in a row. There's no way the 49ers are going to lose 2 in a row. So let me tease the 49ers. Let me money line parlay the 49ers. This is primetime Kirk. We know he sucks. No Justin Jefferson. The list was endless, but it took 2 guys, one from Cape Cod and one from Chicago. And the guy from Cape Cod goes to the guy from Chicago and says, hey, Riley, what game does this smell like? And you said
the Bills and Patriots.
100% spot on. And no one mentioned enough. I know Debo was out, but Trent Williams is probably the biggest cog on that team. And listen, Brock Purdy was not the reason why they lost, okay? 2 weeks ago in Cleveland, he brought them all the way down for a winning field goal. Moody missed it. Okay. Yes, he had the ball on the final drive. Yes, that was a brain fart, a bad throw, but he wasn't the reason they lost. You could tell right away. Minnesota was the right side. They were going to cover. It was just a matter if they were going to win outright. So my sermon in last night's email that I sent out, and I talked about it at length, is this is the NFL in a nutshell. It will kick you in the nuts. It will beat you week after week. But every Monday you get up, you bet the Monday night game. And guess what? The people that lost on Monday, they got up this morning. The NBA is starting. There's 16 NHL games. There's 2 college games. There's a game 7 in baseball. And holy shit, there's another NFL game on Thursday.
And it's a smorgasbord, my friend. And believe it or not, there's some teams that are going to be some public sides tonight as well. So I don't know. And shoot, it was a fun night by all means, and not to mention all the baseball that happened there last night as well. And obviously, you were much more emphatic about it than I was as far as the Rangers putting up some runs, and they did just that. So, congrats to the Rangers. They're moving on, obviously. Get plenty of run, plenty of action. Kind of going away there, obviously. And then I guess the D-backs and Phillies game, the start of it was while we were talking. So, but obviously leading into tonight, if that's where you'd like to go, we can dive into the MLB to get things started right there. Phillies hosting the Diamondbacks tonight. Two pitchers that obviously not quite the same type of pitching matchup that obviously you're geared up and excited for. But these two guys have, in the roles that they've been in this postseason, the last couple of starts have been pretty solid for the most part. There, total at 8. Is there any thought? And I'm seeing these team totals juiced under 4.5 for the Phillies, 3.5 for the Diamondbacks, juiced under. Is this telling you this is going to be a low-scoring game, or these guys are going to be solid through whatever they let them go? Or, I mean, are we going to, is Fad going to get into, or Suarez going to get into trouble in the first 2 innings, and then we're going to have 10 pitchers each way in this one, and it's going to be a 4-hour game? I mean, where are you at with this one? Because these Game 7s, I haven't had as much thoughts on. You've been a lot more spot on than I am with these baseball late series games, individual games here.
Well, first, I'm going to go back to the Rangers. The numbers screamed to me. I actually had a 10.5 on one source that we had from overnight. Another source we had 10. And then that line kept going to 9.5, 9. Everyone, as soon as they see Max Scherzer, they think a low-scoring game. Of course, Javier had been lights out. What has happened in the American League Series there is the road team won every game. Well, how is the road team winning every game? They're putting up crooked numbers early to get the crowd out. What did Arizona do yesterday that no one in the world thought is, let's put up a couple crooked numbers early. Let's take the crowd out. You could have heard a pin drop. They were like stunned because they were ready to celebrate off of the Philadelphia Eagles win Sunday night. Let's get this over with and let's pack our bags. Let's go watch the rest of the Astro-Texas game and see where we're going. And now there's a Game 7. And I tell you what, go back to the Milwaukee series. Go back to the LA series. What did the Diamondbacks do? They put up crooked numbers early. They take the crowd right out. That you're going to hear this crowd in Philadelphia is going to be like no tomorrow to start. Some way, come hell or high water, if this D-back team can even scratch out a run in the first inning, the crowd's going to be like this, and the players are going to be as tight as a snare drum, because this was the Phillies series after they beat the mighty Braves. This is the Diamondbacks, okay? We're moving on. We were here last year. We're battle tested. We know how to get to the World Series. This team's forced them to a Game 7 where anything can happen. These are 23 and 24-year-old kids for the most part. They're years ahead of each other, ahead of schedule here, Riley. There's no Bryce Harper. There's no Trey Turner. There's no Schwarber. There's no Castellanos. There's no JT Realmuto. They've gone through Nola. They've gone through Wheeler. Now here comes Suarez, who's been their stud lefty. Do I think that the Phillies are going to win? Well, obviously they're the favorite. 4.5 under -120. Phillies get to 5. I don't think so. Arizona 3.5. Do they get to 4? I don't think so. I think this is your 3-2. And if you're a Phillies backer, you're going to be pooping chiclets when you see Kimbrel get out there in the 8th or 9th inning. If you're an Arizona backer, you trust that back end. How do we get a lead, Riley?
And so I guess that kind of leads me into my next question, because we haven't seen it as much this playoff. There was 2020, 2021, and we've seen it a little bit, but the teams that would have the short leashes anytime these guys would get into any type of danger, we haven't seen that as much. These leashes have gotten a little bit longer in the postseason since we've been seeing it. If these teams have to dip deep into their bullpens, or if this one goes late, Is there a good chance that we're going to see? I know I was looking for Arizona's side. Gallen pitched on Saturday. Do you think Zach Gallen is going to make an appearance in this game if this game gets a little weird or if Bat gets into trouble and they have to go deep into the bullpen? And same thing with Philly. Any of these higher end starters that we know going to make an appearance in this one, or do you think it's going to be kind of standard bullpen usage here?
This is all hands on deck. There's no tomorrow, and the World Series doesn't start till Friday. Suarez, you give me everything you got for as long as you got. Last night in the Texas game in Houston, Max went 44 pitches. That was it. They pulled them. Dusty was left on an island because he wasn't expecting such a short start from Javier. So this is give me what you got. The first sign of trouble, you gone. Usually the second time around the order, you start counting pitches. If you go back last night, Merrill Kelly, who had just struck out 2 out of the 3 at the heart of the order, only on 89 pitches, was met at the top stairs of the dugout with the coach there and saying, "Hey, great job. Now go take a seat." And he was like dumbfounded, like, "Coach, you see what I just did? I got another inning." And it was a ballsy move on his part. He had everyone lined up. If one of those guys is not on, you're in trouble. So any sign of trouble, you're gone. There's no tomorrow for one of these teams.
Right. And I say, and you're right, these leashes are still short. I just remember it was 2020 or 2021 for a 2 or 3 year span where it was obnoxiously short leashes, and we were talking first, second inning, the starter gets a couple guys on base and then maybe a couple bloops and the manager's getting the bullpen going. I feel like we've gotten out of that a little bit. But no, that's kind of what I was thinking. I have to imagine at least one of these starters that are pitching on that would be pitching on short rest are probably going to have to go tonight for one of these two teams, if not both. So anything else to say? I guess you gave the low scoring prediction here, and I'm not against it by any means. It's tough for me to take a side. Like you said, the team that gets out early is obviously going to, any game you could say that, but in these games especially, the team that gets out early or earliest is obviously got the biggest advantage here.
If you remember, you go back 3 weeks ago, however long it was, when we gave out the Diamondbacks over the Milwaukee Brewers, my little write-up was they could be this year's last year Philadelphia Phillies, and here we are in a Game 7. I just think deep down they're going to find a way. Can you imagine MLB before this tournament started saying, "Holy shit, we got the Rangers and Diamondbacks in the World Series. They will be pooping their pants." As much as it'll be a great World Series. Listen, Texas and Phillies will be a great series, don't get me wrong. But can you imagine if it's the Rangers and the Diamondbacks on Friday night? How many people other than Ranger and Diamondback and sports fans like us are going to be running to the window on a Friday night to watch, let me see, Nate Eovaldi versus Zach Gallen?
Hey, it sounds like a fun one to me. Phillies Rangers, as much as the Diamond, as a sports fan, I typically am rooting for that underdog. I think Phillies Rangers would be a fantastic series. If this, as we say, we're not these guys, but if this was the NBA, I think there might be a call at some point in this one tonight to get the Phillies into the finals. I think that's how that would work if this was the NBA here, but it's not, and we're not those guys anyways. But speaking of the NBA, transitioning right over to there, 2 games tonight, my friend. I personally, one of my least, I have very certain, timings during the NBA season where I have a lot of success. Opening week or 2 in the NBA is one of the, in most sports, I typically don't dive too deep into the opening week. NBA especially, I typically try to sit back a little bit and see what teams are showing up for the start of the season, what teams aren't showing up for this type of the season. As much as you obviously think the teams, they are a little bit different year over year. 2 solid matchups on paper tonight, though, which I don't really see, and at least this is in this one spot. I don't see too much of a lopsided side either way in either of these games for the most part. The public's obviously going to the over for the most part. But Lakers and Nuggets, Suns and Warriors, as far as injuries, last I checked, we can do a little bit of an update. Bradley Beal, I believe, is out of this game for the Suns. And aside from that, I think we are I'm sure I'll be eating my words if somebody else. I think Lakers Nuggets is for the most part fine with injuries. Actually, and Draymond Green, that was the one. He might be out for a little week or two here. That's the other one for this Warriors here. Ring night, obviously, or banner raising night. Maybe not ring night, but banner raising night for the Nuggets. Up against the Lakers team that I don't remember if it was a month ago, 2 weeks ago, you heard the Lakers headlines and storylines of them getting tired of the Nuggets championship celebration, whatever it was. It was a little out of left field for my liking. I mean, they're celebrating a championship, and they swept you 4-0. They're not really directed too much at you. But anyways, maybe a Lakers team that is motivated to get opening night revenge for whatever that's worth. I'm not involved in this game tonight, but it's not even a situation of if I had to do something, I'm going to the Lakers. But it seems like you've got a Lakers team that's ready to, you smack this Nuggets team in the mouth for sweeping them and obviously celebrating a little bit too hard. If that's what the case is, I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at my true numbers, and I'm looking at both games, and I have a quick question for you after. Nuggets 4.5 with the 227.5, currently at circa a 5 with the 228.5. My true number on Phoenix and Golden State is Golden State 1 with the 232.5, now 235 and 3. Injuries aside, looking at those two games just from a true eye test, isn't the whole world waking up and saying, oh my God, I can get Golden State -1, 1.5, 2 at home? Remember their home and road splits last year, especially to start the year? They were unbeatable at home and they couldn't win on the road.
That's right.
So to me, the eye test immediately goes at 10 o'clock to the Phoenix side. As the Denver, LA now sitting at a 5 with a 228. Basic math is I'll use the 227.5. Let's go 15, 10, 16, 11. They're telling me Denver Nuggets 116, LA 111. So in your numbers right there, did they give you the Denver Nuggets team total at 116 and a hook or 117 and a hook?
116 and a hook. Some places are juiced over about -120. Other spots got it -110, but 116.5 is mostly what I'm seeing there, and 111.5. I see 111.5, and I see a couple of 112.5s on the Lakers side of things also.
So again, that would tell me this is okay. I would initially say Denver team total under the 117.5. And they're giving you mixed signals on the Lakers. So if you like LA, you grab the 5. I would say if you like the Lakers tonight, I would jump on their team total 111.5 if you could grab that. Get me to 112. It doesn't matter who wins that game. I'll go over to Golden State and Phoenix, a 1 with a 232. Now it's a 3 with a 235. Basic math, 18, 17. Let's say they give you Golden State their magical. They probably gave you 118 or 117.5.
I think general consensus is 118.5. I see one single 117.5 some spot.
And then Warriors. Phoenix. Okay, and then Phoenix, they gave you at this point with a 2.5 with a 35. Did they give you 116 or was there a 116.5?
Yeah, 116 in the hook. Yep.
I mean, it's a Phoenix or nothing for me, where most people will take both home teams. Ring banner night. Jokic, by the way, probably is still drunk. I'd have him take a breathalyzer before the start of the game. And then the Phoenix goes
into the stadium.
Exactly. And then Phoenix, of course, and Golden State. Again, let me look at one thing because I think you had mentioned it. Booker probable, Bradley Beal doubtful, Damian Lee out, and Draymond doubtful. So Beal and Draymond is the wash. I know Draymond's the engine that could there, but just from an eye test, if I had to play in these two games, again, I'd take the Lakers team total over 111 and a hook. And then I would just take Phoenix plus the 3 and sprinkle a little beer and pizza money on them to win the game outright.
Yeah, honestly, you saying that honestly kind of clicked in my head that makes a lot of sense there. Especially, I mean, you could see a Golden State team that defensively just is out of sorts tonight, not ready to go. This Phoenix team, I mean, shoot, you don't have to figure out the whole Bradley Beal situation tonight because he's not playing. I mean, you've got a lot of the same team that finished the season last year with what's going on tonight. So, yeah, maybe there's a Kevin Durant revenge factor here against Warriors. I don't know. Maybe write that off altogether. But fantastic point though about the home and away splits. I mean, it's something to watch for this Warriors team. Are they going to level out a bit and, probably still be pretty good at home and at least competent on the road? Because, I mean, it goes with you need to jam at home again. They were horrific on the road last year. I mean, it was god awful on the road. So interested to see if things get better, if they change some things on the road there. But no, I'm glad you mentioned that because that is a great point there. Both those games on TNT. And obviously we got a bigger slate tomorrow. I will be on talking all those games or whatever game pops up tomorrow on our show tomorrow or solo show probably tomorrow. We've got these hockey games, my friend. You said it. I'm kind of excited for, as someone who enjoys hockey but maybe isn't quite as big of a diehard as I am for football, basketball, baseball, college sports, whatever. This type of red zone-esque NHL thing is, I watch my Blackhawks. But aside from that, I kind of wait till playoff hockey, and obviously, if we've got certain action on specific spots, or if I need to just fill some time to watch some hockey. I don't religiously watch hockey like they do these other sports, so this thing is exactly what the type of thing that I'm looking for here out of the NHL. So I'm excited from that sense. But anything that you wanted to mention, I believe it's all 16 or all 32 teams in action tonight.
Yeah, I like to explain it this way, and obviously we haven't seen the red zone in hockey yet and how they're going to do this. I assume they'll be going from game to game, power play to power play. They'll be showing you some great saves. They'll be showing you obviously some goals. What the NHL has done is just absolutely off the charts. Is they staggered the start of every game, and so you got a 6 o'clock, and then you got a 6:45, you got a 7, a 7:15, a 7:30, a 7:45, an 8, and 8:15, a couple 8:30s, an 8:45, a 9, a 9:15, a 9:45, a 10:30, and 11. And as Andrew says, the 11 o'clock Philly and Vegas game is 12 o'clock or 12 a.m. for him in Halifax, Canada. He'll be on Sports Grid with Gabe Morency for the start of a game that's literally on Tuesday morning. And the amazing thing is this is when DirecTV came out and they had the football package, I bought in immediately. Way back then, The Sopranos, Oz, and a bunch of those shows on HBO. It was must-watch TV. And I just, because of work and because of what I do, I always had the football package and had every game. We had everyone over when they wanted to watch it.
Right.
And then during baseball, they would have a baseball package. And I never would buy into the hockey package that they would try to sell you. My point is, a year ago, I cut the cord and I got YouTube TV. And in my YouTube TV package, they had the red zone. And now you're talking to a guy for 20 years that never watched the red zone. So last year in football season in our studio with the big screen TVs, we had 3 of them. We'd have all the games on one. We'd have the Patriots on another, and then we'd have the red zone. And I started to watch the red zone. Well, this year, YouTube TV has the football package. So they got to set it up at 1 o'clock where you can watch 4 games at a time. You can mix and match who you want to watch, or you can put 3 together with the red zone. So if you have 2 TVs together and there's 8 1 o'clock games, you could put 4 and 4 and have all 8 games. I've kind of got hooked on the red zone. I just love the product. I love the way it's brought to you. Every 2 seconds, you're on someone in the red zone. I am just fascinated to see what this NHL red zone looks like, because they could be on to something where, hey, I know the schedule's already been put out this year, but maybe next year, uh, uh, every Tuesday night, instead of 32 teams playing, maybe there's, 12 games and 24 teams playing, and we can do a red zone once a week, and to see if you can build up the market and the eye power. And for someone like you that's not a diehard hockey fan, well, now you kind of sort of are, because you got the next generational player right in your back pocket, and Connor Bedard.
Oh, yeah. Right, and I've been calling for another sports too. I mean, how many? Almost 7 days a week. 5 of the days you've got every single baseball team playing for the most part. I've been calling. I mean, there are baseball whip around shows, but there's nothing. It's sometimes tough to find a dedicated show like that for baseball. I've been calling for that to have on the. If I'm watching my your regional team, which obviously baseball is increasingly becoming even more. People are watching their regional games. If you give me the same thing for baseball 5 nights a week, I'd have it on the side of whatever baseball game or whatever thing I'm watching for baseball too. Basketball, I would do it for just about anything, honestly. And I personally, because people look at me like I'm crazy because sometimes I'll have 4 TVs in my living room. So I'm trying to literally have as many of these games as I possibly can. So sometimes I don't need it. But when like you said, when there's 9 NFL games, since I've been in college, I've loved the red zone. I typically still love to have at least 1 or 2 full games to take in and watch. But when you got 8, 9 games and you got fantasy and betting action going on, you obviously need it there. So I can't wait. I'm very excited for this to come, especially like you said. I actually didn't know they staggered them like that until you said that too. And that is honestly awesome. So and more leagues don't do enough stuff like that just makes sense. They could do it because they're the league that sets it up, and they just don't do it, and it drives me nuts. So I will be watching for sure tonight. So I am very excited. As for news in your neck of the woods, the Patriots just waived quarterback Malik Cunningham. That just became official there. Malik Cunningham waived and also just released Trey Flowers. Patriots.
It's kind of comical. I don't know. This is maybe a move to see maybe he clears away. Actually, no. Here's a funny. So 2 weeks ago, they called him up from the practice squad. They signed him to a 3-year deal, and he got $30,000 guaranteed money. So it was like they knew they were going to move him into the second quarterback spot in LA. So that was probably his 30,000 guaranteed, and whatever his game check was in Vegas. I'm sorry, against the Raiders. And now they cut him. I wonder if now that's to say they're traveling to Miami this week. Okay. They're 10-point underdogs. Do I expect them to win? I don't, obviously. Who the hell knows anymore in the NFL? We've been saying that. But my point is a loss here gets them to 2-6. By the way, they are 2-0 in the AFC this year with wins against Buffalo. No, 2-1. Win against Buffalo. A loss.
Lost to the Raiders.
A win against Buffalo. No, in the AFC East. They beat Buffalo. They beat the Jets, and they lost to Miami 2-1. So if they actually won Sunday, they'd be 3-1 in the division. But my point is maybe they're setting up the fact that a couple more losses and maybe we'll just see what we have from Zappe. I don't know what the hell's going on there. And the Trey Flowers situation, again, I have no idea what's going on there. Thank you for that. For this board in the NHL, we did a show at 3:00 with Andrew McGinnis from Wager Talk. He gave out some selections on the show. If you missed that show, go over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors. Should be the last show up other than this one, and you can catch some stuff up there. Gave Kemper over 30.5 saves, minus 105. He likes the Carolina-Tampa game over 6.5. He thinks the Ducks plus 125 are sneaky at Columbus. And Ryan Hopkins over 2.5 shots. Second line center for Edmonton tonight. No Connor Bedard. No Connor McDavid, and that's plus 114. So you would think with this huge slate, I would have a million team totals for everyone. And I think they're catching up to us already, and we're only 2 weeks in. I'll do my best to give some people some help here. Obviously, the carrot of the night is you can go run to the window for even money and get the Toronto Maple Leafs to get to 4. That game starts at 6 o'clock my time at Washington. Washington's been a sieve. They have no offense. And Toronto could sleepwalk and score 4 goals tonight, which means probably Washington wins outright 3-1. So just be careful there. Let me pull this up here. Anaheim and Columbus. Again, if you like Columbus, instead of laying the minus 147, you can get them to get to 4 at plus 105. Ottawa and Buffalo, this is a stench of the night. Buffalo coming off of a back-to-back. They lost 3-1 at Montreal last night. Now they got to travel to Ottawa, who's scoring boatloads. And they're listening, by the way, because they just dropped the Ottawa team total down to now 3.5 over 140. I think the Sabres are live tonight. Grab them plus 160. I think you can get their team total over 3.5 at plus 140 as well. I think the Sabres get to 4 and shock the world tonight. ECSI VIPs, Carolina and Tampa. Andrew loves the over 6.5. You guys know we love a team total over at even money tonight there. Let me see what else I got for everyone. If you like Dallas at Pittsburgh, instead of laying the minus 130 on Dallas, you can go and get their team total over 3.5 plus 130. So get to 4. You don't have to worry who wins that game. San Jose, no thank you. Florida, no thank you. Colorado and the Islanders. I actually think the Islanders are live tonight. Probably one of the only few. You can get the Islanders plus 115 or 118 against the Avalanche. If you like Colorado tonight and don't want to lay the juice, team total over 3.5 plus 140. The Bruins at Chicago versus Connor Bedard, a revenge game. You lost, I think, 4-2 at the Garden, empty netter, right? Connor Bedard's first goal. What's that?
3-1, I think it was. I looked. I think it was 3-1.
3-1. Okay. So you can get Blackhawks to score 3 goals tonight at plus 110. Team total over 2.5. Plus 110 to get to 3, or the Bruins 3.5 flat. So if you think the Bruins get to 4 tonight, instead of laying minus 240, the Bruins get to 4 at even money there. I was on this game and I scratched it. Winnipeg Jets tonight, minus 190 against the St. Louis Blues. Team total 3.5 minus 120. So if you like Winnipeg, you don't want to play regulation, you don't want to do an empty netter, just to get to 4 at basically even money, 3.5. 3.5 over minus 110, actually it is right now. Edmonton, Minnesota, no Connor McDavid. Both team totals, 3.5 juiced under 145 and 140. So if you want Edmonton tonight to get to 4, you get them plus 125. No McDavid. If you want Minnesota to get to 4, plus 120. Or like Andrew was talking, you can take the over 6.5. They get to 7 or more. You got that minus 15 cents there. Vancouver, Nashville. ECSI VIPs know where we stand on that one there. A sneaky game here. Rangers at Calgary. The eye opener here was my number was Rangers minus 130 at Calgary. Now down to 120. Only one way that number can go. So if you like the Rangers tonight, you can play them minus the 120. If you want the real value, team total over 3.5 plus 130 tonight. So instead of laying the 120 just to win, get them to 4. You're getting plus 130 there. Um, Kings team total over 3.5 at home against Arizona, minus 110. And then here I thought was the stench of the night. I backed off. I left it on the desk. Philly and Vegas, defending Stanley Cup champs, the last game of the board. So if someone's a hockey junkie and they got killed today, they're going to run to this one. They're going to take Vegas, and they're going to take Vegas in the over. Philly team total over 2.5 even money. I like that. I like Philly to steal this game plus 175. Sprinkle a little beer and pizza money on that. So that's your NHL the way I see it.
I love it. That is a hell of a breakdown for a 16-game slate, my friend. And as always, as you said, make sure anyone else that wants further than that, obviously you and Andrew had a show talking all things NHL, who two very great minds there. So I don't have too much to add as far as that is concerned. Like I said, I don't know if you got anything else tonight to talk about. I am rocking and rolling with two things. That's fine. Rocking and rolling with the entire NBA slate tomorrow. I don't know how many games there are, but I want to say at least 10 or something like that. Not a full 16, 15, 16 slate like this gorgeous NHL one, but good slate nonetheless. So catch me tomorrow night talking NBA.
Did you roll your eyes? There's 2 college football games tonight.
You know what? I did not roll my. I did and I didn't, because as much as we kind of have been sometimes we've given some advice. We've been giving either advice or passively giving advice. And for these Conference USA games, they've actually been working out fairly well in the advice that we've been giving. Am I crazy to say that there might be a little bit of a 7-0 Liberty stinky as a 4.5, 5-point favorites at a 4-3 Western Kentucky, or am I reading into that one a little too much?
No, my friend, you have a great teacher. Your eyes have gotten real, real good. And the funny is, I'm going to pull up this spreadsheet over here. Give me 1 second. Here's a Liberty team that is set, as you said, undefeated. The true number is only 3.5 for the 61, up to 5 on DraftKings, 4.5 everywhere else, 61.5. I dug deep on this, as everyone that has the ECSI VIP alert tonight. The original team totals, Liberty 31.5 over minus 130 and 33.5 over minus 120. Yet this poor Western Kentucky that's 3-3, their team totals 28.5 juiced under minus 135. So as you do so well, Riley, 28.5. So the general public, the average person that wants to scratch an itch on some Conference USA football tonight, sees an undefeated Liberty team, and then they see they're going up against Western Kentucky, and it's 28.5 juiced under minus 135. How is everyone going to play that team total?
You know what? I think they're going to go on the south side of 28.5 there.
Correct. It's not 27. It's not 24. It's not 23. It's not 21. So if they wanted you to take the over, they would have given you the patented 26.5, and they would have got stuck around 24 or 23. They didn't give you 27. They didn't give you 27.5. They didn't even give you a flat 28. And Riley, can you imagine this? People say that they don't listen to our show. Well, as we were speaking, the 28.5 juice under minus 135 just miraculously went to 130. So what are they doing? They're begging you to take the under even more. So I'll just give out one of the VIP plays tonight from East Coast Sports Wrestling. Anyone watching and listening that wants to be a part of the ECSI VIPs, delivered to your cell phone and your email for just $3 a day. Send me an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com, or go over to our website, hit packages and plans, and there's a $99 a month, $3 a day, or go over to EC Sports Invest, send me a DM. But it's just amazing, Riley, how they're listening to every one of our shows and they know which way I'm going, and they just happen to move the number just in front of my eyes. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It's a sharp operation we've got going on here, my friend. That's all I'll say about that. But no, I am. You know what? I will say this is probably the night where I won't be having college football on one of my TVs unless you give me an alert that it's tied in overtime or something like that. I'll probably take my interest to baseball, NHL, and the NBA tonight. This is one time where I probably won't have too much college football on my TV, which is not a typical to the typical thing in the Magnuson household here.
And hats off to YouTube. Last night, I go onto the big screen, and there's my option to watch the football game. There's my option to watch the baseball game, or there's an option to watch both at once. So I had the football game and the baseball game. I had the volume on the baseball game.
It is great, but I would like to say that it would be nice if we could at least select which ones we want, because sometimes they'll throw me the Blackhawks baseball and a couple college football games, but sometimes they don't. And it seems like it shouldn't be that hard for us to just pick which 4 games we want if it's a sports game. As much as I love it, I do have a slight bone to pick because it doesn't seem like that would be that hard.
I think they're working on it. We get the emails now in the middle of the week about all the football games.
Yeah.
And, I think we're getting closer to a full night of sports. And then you just go in and you start selecting, hey, I want to watch this college football game with the Celtics, with the Bruins. And by the way, my 4th game, I want to go watch some CFL.
Exactly. And shoot, I am teetering on the I've had the NBA package in the past, but now they with YouTube TV, you can just throw that in your subscription on YouTube TV for $15 a month. So if you're telling me I can pick 2 basketball games, a hockey game, and a college football game at my own will, then I'm a lot more likely to pay up that extra $15 a month, as opposed to you're forcing me to be at your will of what 4 games whoever this YouTube. Hey, that's the job I want. If that isn't possible, the job that I want, my dream job, is to be the person who selects the 4 multi-view on YouTube TV. That might actually be my dream job, is what we're talking about here.
There is one more game we can go over quickly, and then we can get everyone out here. I just want to click on the comment. Shout out to Marty Lowe. What is up, Marty? Great win by Tennessee on Alabama. Second half domination. Enjoy your week off. LSU and Mr. Kelly come into town next Saturday. Must win. Then I think you got a Tennessee Chattanooga or something. Then I think a week off, then the Iron Bowl or something like that. So a couple more wins left, and you'll be facing most likely an undefeated Georgia team for the SEC championship win, and you're in the Final Four there. So good evening, Mr. Marty. Yes, roll tide, roll tide. New Mexico State at Louisiana Tech. True number, Louisiana Tech 2.5 with a 51, still at 2.5 with a 56. So the number is the under-over has been corrected from 51 to 56 at Circa. I am seeing a 3, of course, at DraftKings and Bet Online. Team totals, I'm seeing Louisiana Tech 27.5 juiced over minus 130 at Bet Online, 29.5 juiced under minus 120 at Heritage. So again, pay the juice at Bet Online. Hope it gets to 28 or 29 or better. At Heritage, 29.5 is a dead man's number. So you just stay away from that. I will say this, New Mexico State, 24.5 juiced over minus 125 at Bet Online, 26.5 straight juice at Heritage. Again, I see nothing on anything here. Here it goes, Marty, and the schedule. LSU. Oh, that's right. I apologize. I'm skipping Alabama, Kentucky, then UT Chattanooga, then Auburn. So the Kentucky game will not be as easy as expected, but you should win all 4, Marty. You'll be favored in all 4. So you should get to that magical number with 1 loss heading into the SEC finals. So, closing thoughts, Mr. Magnuson.
Closing thoughts, like you kind of said it, but obviously, if you're for a person who had a rough Saturday, a rough Sunday, then bet everything else on the Niners last night. Maybe take a enjoy the sports and maybe take a second look at what you got going on tonight. I guess is what I would say. Not to mention you got a full slate of NBA tomorrow. So as I mentioned, I will be as you broke down so well the NHL. I will be doing something similar. For the basketball games that are tomorrow. Again, I 10, 11, 12 games, something like that. It's a big slate of basketball. So I will be pretty excited to get going with that. Not any laid out slate what we got for the NHL tonight, but it should be pretty good there. So that's what we got going on, and I'll be here all week, so I'm ready to rock and roll, and obviously we'll be leading into the World Series this weekend. So a lot of big things coming this way.
For me, I think you just nailed it on the head. I can't preach enough about the NFL. Listen, Monday night games, standalone games. Thursday night games, standalone games. The Sunday night games, standalone games. In December, the Saturday games, standalone games. When you are going into Sunday, whether you're up $1 million or down $1 million or you're even, you're going there. It's you against the world. And I said on my alert last night, I was going to, and I don't know if I've already said it on the show, and if I did, I apologize. I was going to save my 30-pound butterball carcass a story, but I'm going to say it real quick here. Imagine this, guys and gals. Go to the landfill Monday morning and drop a 30-pound butterball, fully cooked fully cooked turkey at your landfill Monday morning, 8 a.m. Now, Sunday, as you get ready to bet, I'll say at 12:15, 45 minutes before kickoff, you go back to that landfill. What are you going to find? You're going to find carcass. You're going to find skin and bones. That 30 pounds of meat is long gone. That's what the NFL is. That is what the NFL is, meaning these numbers come out while you're watching the Sunday games. They've already hit the books, the sharps, into the Circa and some of these other places, and they're released to the public late Sunday night, early Monday morning. So by the time you physically go to bet these games, you've missed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And now, listen, a lot of people will buy numbers Monday morning when they first come out. Then they'll see injuries. They'll see line movements. They'll come back on the other side, try to catch a middle. But for the most part, the majority of the people that bet the NFL do it Sunday around noon, 12:30, 1:45, 1 o'clock before kickoff. So the 30-pound butterball turkey comparison on Monday morning to the carcass at 12, 12:15, 12:30, that's what the numbers are. They are so tight. They are so sharp. They are so picked apart. You got no chance. You have zero chance. The Cleveland-Indianapolis game, for instance, where Cleveland was 1.5 point favorites. Then it went to a pick. Then it went to the Colts 1.5 point favorites. Well, what Cleveland ended up beating the Colts, 31-29 or something stupid like that. So they were actually winners on both sides. But if you had the Colts early, you lost. If you had the Browns late, you lost. Or actually, no, that was Deshaun Watson not playing. So the numbers are that tight, guys. The Patriots upset the Bills outright. The Vikings upset the 49ers outright. The week before, the Jets beat the undefeated Eagles. The Niners lose at the Browns. So my point is, stay in the day. If you want to buy futures, if you want to get in early on certain games, please do. Okay? But if you're expected to get rich on Sundays, you're just fooling yourself. I will be 57 in a couple weeks. My first wager was in 1975, Red Sox Reds World Series. I was in 5th grade. Okay? That's 48 years of betting experience. Yeah, I was the guy handing out the football cards in middle school and high school. I was the guy betting with my history teacher on Saturdays for the weekends. I was the guy in college that knew which books to go to, yada, yada, yada. I learned the hard way. I worked for 2 services in the late 80s, early 90s in Boston. No cell phones, no internet. I had 5 newspapers. That was what we did to get information. Now you got the internet, you got websites, you got 24/7 numbers changing like the stock market. So the quicker you guys decide this is not about entertainment, go watch our show with WagerWire. Go watch what we're bringing to the table here. Go watch why we're going to start to turn wagers into assets and sell them for profit before they mature. That's what WagerWire is all about, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to educate with a little entertainment, with my help, obviously, of Riley. So the sermon's done. The second basket will be passed tomorrow with Riley as he breaks down the NBA, as I get ready to go to the Pepe Compound and Sports Map Radio, 8 to 10 tomorrow night. But Riley, awesome as always. It's amazing the fact that the NBA starts tonight with 16 NHL games, a Game 7 in MLB, 2 college football games. Oh, and by the way, next Wednesday is November 1st, and college basketball starts.
It only gets better from here. That's all it sounds like to me, my friend. So, I'm good to go. And obviously the changing seasons that we've got going on. So thank you, my friend. Fantastic show as always.
From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Mr. Riley _Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have some fun, cash some tickets. Any questions, comments, concerns, go find me at EC Sports Invest. You can go find Riley at Riley _Magnuson, the one. Send us an email to East Coast Sports Investors at gmail.com, and we will go from there. Have a great night, guys, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.